So on a one paragraph traditional assignment, you basically are assigning your full bundle of rights in the transaction and in the purchase contract to the assignee. You don't want to do that in a wholesale transaction. You want to pull out some rights and reserve those rights for the original buyer. One of those is the right to benefit from a cure notice. And why that's important is if you assign the full bundle of rights and the purchase contract states that the seller has, in order to cancel the contract, the seller has to issue a cure notice, whether it's 3 days or in the wholesale contract that I draft, it's 10 days. If you provide for a cure notice and you've assigned the entirety of the contract and all the rights under the contract to that assignee, well, then the assignee, if the assignee can't perform and fails to deliver the funds necessary to close escrow on or before the closing date set forth in the original purchase contract, then that assignee has the ability to receive a cure notice and receives an extra 3 days or 10 days. Well, if they couldn't perform originally, are they really going to be able to perform later on? And then as the original buyer, you're sitting there kind of, wringing your hands, hoping that they're going to be able to perform, and you can't do anything about it. You can't go find someone else to buy it, right? You can't buy it yourself because you've assigned it. So you're just sitting there hoping that this assignee performs. Versus if you say in the assignment, hey, look, assignee, I'm going to assign this purchase contract, but I'm going to reserve or pull out of there your right to benefit by a cure notice. And then your assignment states, if you, the assignee, fails to close escrow on or before the original close of escrow date, then this assignment is immediately canceled and all rights under the purchase contract revert back to the original buyer. That's the language you're going to want in that assignment. And so that way, if you do have a 10-day cure notice, for example, and the assignee can't perform, you have two options. You can either purchase it yourself and perform, or you can go find another assignee who can perform within that 10-day period and close escrow. So you basically have bought yourself a little bit of a window. But if you don't have that language in the assignment, that window doesn't exist.
It keeps you in the game.
Keeps you in the game for another 10 days versus not having that language in there. Well, great. You have a 10-day cure notice in your wholesale contract. Well, that doesn't do you any good if you don't have the right to immediately cancel that assignment upon the assignee's failure to perform.